Good evening, listeners. It's me, RamblingRamm. I'm back. New microphone, a better setup. I'm happy to be finally recording stories for you again. Tonight I bring you something unique. It's actually something I wrote. I hope you enjoy it. In the early 2000s, I worked as a security guard. As I live in a sleepy little town in the UK, it was a fairly easy gig. Patrol every hour or so, have a cigarette while studying, then head back to the office for a brew and get back to my book or film. I worked nights, so it was quiet, nothing really happened. Some of the sites I worked on were creepy, but that's mainly because the buildings were empty, and it was night shift. The first time something strange happened was when I was on a site of an HGV company. Lots of parked empty trucks in a large dark yard. I had a patrol route and had to check the trucks, otherwise I sat in the canteen and read my book. Admittedly, I am a huge fan of horror novels. So, when the strangeness started happening, I thought it was just my imagination running wild on me. I was having a brew, a cup of coffee or tea for the American or non-British listeners, and reading my book, It, by Stephen King, when I saw something from the corner of my eye. I looked up and out of the window. Just empty trucks in a dark yard. I shook my head and chuckled, picking up my book. I started reading, and I'm sure I saw movement again. It was about time for my patrol, so I thought, sod it. I grabbed my mag light and cigarettes and headed out of the canteen. I unlocked the door and locked it behind me. I took a deep breath, expecting the oaty smell from the nearby cereal factory. Instead, the smell of rotten meat and feces assaulted my nose. I felt bile rise and quickly lit a cigarette to mask the smell. I began my patrol and shone my torch around a lot. I was halfway through my walk of the perimeter when I noticed a dark figure standing by one of the trucks. It wasn't moving, almost like an image of a person cut out of reality, a void in a person's shape. I shone my torch over it. The truck lit up, but not the figure. I heard a whisper behind me. Soon. I looked and saw nothing. As I looked back, the figure had vanished. I near ran through my patrol, trying to write off the experience as tricks of the mind. Finally, I got back into the canteen and made myself a brew. Sitting in the well-lit canteen calmed me. I could smell the flapjack smell of the cereal factory. Finally, I began to relax again. I phoned in my check call and had a laugh about it with Charlie, the control room guy. Take care out there, bud. People have quit doing nights on that site. I'm talking ex-military, quitting in tears. Thanks for that, mate. I'll talk to you later, I said, my shaking voice betraying the fear I'm repressing. The strangeness happened again when I went to the toilet. I sat in the lone cubicle, staring into space. I could feel the temperature drop across my bare legs. The same smell from earlier seemed to fill the room, choking me and making me gag. Whispers were all around me, hundreds of voices all speaking at once. I could see feet under the cubicle door, so dark it was like they were absorbing the light. All I have to say is I was glad I was on the toilet. The feet turned and walked soundlessly away. The whispers stopped, and I was left sat on the toilet, tears streaming down my face. After getting myself together and cleaning up, I left the stall to see the word "soon" frosted onto the mirror, like a frozen finger had carved it on there. I walked into the canteen and checked the time. It was just after 4 a.m. I had 2 hours to go. I decided no more patrols and just opened the door for a quick smoke. Staring into the yard, I could see the figures stood opposite the window, about 200 meters away. Finished my cigarette and closed and locked the door. I sat back in the canteen, staring out of the window. It had moved closer, maybe 50 meters. I decided I'd sit there and watch it. I put 999 on my phone, but didn't dial. Ready should it come for me. I sat staring. Every time I blinked, it was a little closer. Every time I glanced at the clock, it was closer. By 5:45, it was almost at the window. My phone rang and I answered unthinking, glancing away. I looked back to the window. It was pressed against the glass. Pure white eyes staring into my soul. Its hand flat against the glass. Frost spreading across the pane. I could hear a voice saying my name. I tried to say something, but nothing came out. The door unlocked, and the handle slowly turned. I knew this was it. I was dead. Cold air flooded the room, and in stepped Keith, the daytime guy. He smiled at me, asking if I wanted a brew. I nodded dumbly and saw the window was empty. Charlie was shouting my name down the phone. I cleared my throat and managed to get out a few words. I'm never working this site again. Charlie sighed with relief and said calmly in a kind tone, "That's all right, mate. We'll find you somewhere else. Don't worry." Well, listeners, I hope you enjoyed my little attempt at a story for you. It is part of a series. I'm hoping to write some more in the near future. I will, of course, be doing work by others. But if you happen to be a writer of scary stories, please do send them to me. It's RamblingRamm@gmail.com. And please comment and feel free to contact me. And it would also mean a lot to me if you like, share and subscribe, so we can build an audience for these spooky stories of mine and of other people's. Well, listeners, I'm going to bid you a good night. I do hope you enjoyed, and I will be talking to you again soon. This is RamblingRamm, signing off.